Hey guys, before I get started with my review of A Nightmare on Elm Street, I quickly want to tell you guys about a video I picked up from Dollar General. Nothing big, nothing too exciting, but if you guys were a big fan of The Conjuring, the film directed by James Wan, which was a big horror movie success last year of 2013, and you want to know more about the real story, this is a really interesting DVD you guys can buy. It's called The Family That Inspired The Conjuring, House of Darkness, House of Light, Andrea Perron interview. And this is just an interview with the older sister of the family who wrote the book based on the that the movie was inspired by, and you can just learn a little bit about a little bit more about the true story and a little bit about Andrea Perron, who was in the house at the time. A really interesting interview. I really had a good time watching it. I mean, it's fun to sit down and watch these real people who went through these situations, kind of talk about it. So, guys, if you guys want to check out this DVD. Go ahead, maybe try to find it. It's not that expensive, I know that for sure, but it's really interesting and really fun to check out. So I would recommend it. And if you are a big fan of the actual events that took place in that house, I would check this out most definitely. So guys, let's get started with my Nightmare on Elm. Okay, A Nightmare on Elm Street stars Robert Englund as a Christmas sweater wearing, butter knife clawed man, burnt up victim who comes into children's dreams and terrorizes them and haunts them and kills them. I just explained Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's go. I'm joking, obviously. I'm not a funny guy. Okay. Anyway, Robert Englund takes on the role of Freddy Krueger. Now, you got this girl who is, of course, living her life. All these people are living their lives as teens, having fun, going to school, getting grades, having fun. And then, all of a sudden, someone has a dream about a man with a razor glove, a hat, a bowler hat, I don't know what kind of hat, a fedora, I'm stupid, a Christmas sweater, and a burnt-ass face, and he's terrorizing these kids' dreams. And I gotta say, when you're younger and you watch this movie, you're terrified because, well, you hope you don't go to sleep that night and have a dream about this guy because, well, he kills people in their dreams. And using that to like, you know how you always hear adults say, well, you shouldn't put that on because he'll have a nightmare. The makers of the film did a smart thing. If a kid watches this movie and he has a nightmare about this guy, they're going to obviously freak out because, well, he comes in people's nightmares. And, it's kind of clever. Really smart on how they did that. But I got to say, the tone of this movie is so ridiculous. You got to love it. And Robert Englund's performance as this crazy-ass burn victim, you just gotta love it, and it works so well together, and the direction that Wes Craven took with this movie is probably one of the best, it's probably his best directed movie he has out there. He hasn't made many really great, outstanding slasher movies and horror movies besides, like, the original Fog and Scream, and this really hasn't made any standalone awesome horror movies, and this is one of his most classic, and you gotta admit, the idea is so original, you have no idea. I had no idea they would go this far as making a dream demon who wears a Christmas sweater, a fedora, and a razor glove to come around in your dreams, and he's burned. Obviously, the reason, if you have not seen Nightmare on Elm Street, I hate to spoil anything for you, but I'm going to spoil a little bit. If you have not seen Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm apologizing, but you should have seen it by now. It's fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. And, well, obviously, this is the story. You got a group of kids. But Freddy Krueger is a dream demon who goes around killing kids because of the family. Well, he was a child molester. He was a guy who'd go around killing kids, molest them. Parents hated that. Parents don't like that. Parents hate it, and if you get thrown in jail, you're gonna get killed by the inmates because they hate children abuse too. So Freddy Krueger got burned alive after the judge released him. He gets burned alive by the family, and obviously this is a revenge story. Freddy Krueger's revenge story on why he wants to kill the kids and take revenge on the the parents that killed him. So you got a little bit of a revenge story, a little bit of a psychological thriller because, there's a lot of kids who are getting called crazy and insane by the families because, well, Freddy Krueger's dead because I killed him, and you wouldn't expect him to come back, but he does, and he does, and he does, and he does, and he does. And, well, as you can tell, the idea is original. I'm having a kick-ass time talking to you about it, and there's nothing more classic than a burn victim wearing a fedora, a Christmas sweater, and a glove. And I think the best part about this about his performance is the fact that you can tell while you're watching it that he had a kick-ass time playing this character, and he does it with another like 8 more films of him playing Freddy Krueger, and you can just tell he had a fun time doing it. It's really the only role that Robert Englund ever actually stands out to be, because I've never seen him do anything else besides Nightmare on Elm Street that makes him stand out. But a really good actor, really underrated actor, and I gotta say, a Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm going to give it a solid A. It's such a fun movie, it's a classic movie. I do recommend the Nightmare on Elm Street, though how ridiculous I made it sound. It's still a classic, and you gotta enjoy the classics. So guys, comment down below, what are your thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street? And as always, thanks for watching.